It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, basketball fans. Welcome to the NBA on 2K Sports, along with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille. Tonight, it'll be the San Antonio Spurs going up against the New Orleans Pelicans. Well, for New Orleans, they're sitting at 500 over the last 10 games, kind of treading water. They'd really like to make a splash over the next few games. Fellas, just like we were saying earlier, a lot of excitement has been built around this new season. So far, it has not disappointed. Your thoughts, Shaq, on...
You can hear the roar here in New Orleans. 2K Sports brings you Friday night NBA action. With Greg Anthony and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. Goes to New Orleans. And the starting group for the Spurs. Parker and Green are the guard pairing. Leonard is the 3 with Duncan the 4. Rose kicks to Gordon. Outside, Davis. Just 5 to shoot. San Antonio with the rebound. Fresh from a win against the Nuggets.
And how about the game plan that was constructed for that one? I mean, it was apparent how powerless the D was to stop it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, they just didn't have an answer for anything they threw at him.
Guys, you want to talk about one tough guy? How about the Turkish hammer, Asik? Tremendous rebounder. A space eater in the paint, so long.
That's a great way to describe it, Kevin. Last year, he finished 4th in the league in rebounds per minute. Plus, he's always lurking as a shot blocker.
He is. First quarter of play, 1 minute played. Looking at the last game for the New Orleans Pelicans, it was a win against the Thunder in Oklahoma City. Here's Davis. That one's in, his first bucket of the game. He's 1 for 2.
How about the way he's able to angle his body to shield the big fella off and still get the finish?
You've got to be clever with your sleight of hand when you get inside and try to finish against the bigger guys. And he made it look easy that time.
Here's Green, following the basket by Anthony Davis. Shoots from the line. Anthony Davis grabs the miss. The Pelicans have gone 2 or 3 here to start out the game. And Young, here we go. And Davis wide open. He shoots. And he's good on the 3-ball. Davis has got 5 now.
The shooting percentage is really solid so far, fellas. Good start to this game for him.
Here's Leonard. Good on the baseline, Jay.
Could be the first of a lot of mid-range jumpers that we see from him.
For New Orleans, they've gone 3 of 4 from the field to start out the game. Gordon, the pass to Davis. Parker against Rose. Back to Davis. A great 1-2 punch. Beautiful passing. Nasty jam.
He power surged that one down. Wow.
Yeah, good term to use. One of the game's top dunkers for sure.
Folks, that's not a petty, not a Manny. That's a facial. Oh, that is just weak defense there. I'm pretty sure that was not the plan to give him those kind of baskets at the hoop.
And count the basket. He was fouled, and he's going to the line for 1 more.
And it's just hard to imagine the Spurs without Coach Popovich on the sidelines. He's the longest tenured coach in the NBA and has done so much for this team. Easily one of the best coaches in the history of our league.
And a chance for just a second to check out the scoring breakdown for the Pelicans.
Well, I like the fact they've already been getting a lot of high-quality shots in the paint.
And also another aspect of their game that's been super so far tonight is how they've been sharing the basketball.
And Greg, for Popovich being with the Spurs for so long, since 1996, Clark, he is actually the longest tenured coach in all of sports right now.
Amazing, Kevin, and he's done it through winning. I mean, the third fastest coach ever to get to 1,000 wins. You compare his numbers with any coach in any sport, and they stack up as Hall of Fame caliber.
And so it's San Antonio with it, following the score by New Orleans. Outside Leonard. Here's the three. It's good for his second make. He's made 2 of 3 so far.
They really can't allow him too many open looks like that. I mean, that's just inviting trouble.
To the paint. And it's slammed in by Davis.
Maybe could have tried for a more memorable dunk than that.
And we know he's capable of those memorable dunks.
Yeah, and when he's got a lead like that, why not take a few chances? A lot more engaging and entertaining than just doing the old ho-hum one-hander.
Here's Duncan. The Pelicans make their last shot.
He operates well in traffic, but still, that's just a tough play to finish.
And Young kicks to Rose. Davis inside, covered by Parker. And Davis gets it to go.
Really just a tremendous day for him. And if you remember, he was just as good in their last game.
And San Antonio calls the first timeout of the game. You look at what Anthony Davis has accomplished so far in his career, the historic comparisons. I mean, they're mind-boggling. For a kid 23, Greg, the historic comparisons are very favorable for him.
I mean, he's been compared to a young KG and Duncan quite often. But in his first few seasons, his numbers look the most similar to Hakeem the Dream. And that's about as good a company as you can get.
The funny thing about Davis having similar numbers to Hakeem, he came very close last season in putting up a quadruple double. Hakeem was one of only 4 people to ever accomplish that.
And he sinks the second.
Davis might get a quadruple double at some point. Last season, he had 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 blocks on 4 different occasions. The rest of the NBA had a combined 0 in that category.
Spurs trail by 10. West a screen on Allen. Ginobili kicks it to West. That falls. Nice feed that time for Manu Ginobili. And so it's New Orleans with it. They want to keep rolling here following the win against the Thunder.
And you know what? Exactly what had to be done in terms of winning on the road. Never allowed any momentum to build up against them. Kept the crowd out of the game. And for every punch they took, they had a counter.
I was very impressed, Greg, with the way they stood their ground. Even when they were on their heels some, coming through those moments where they were backing up a bit. That's what it takes on the road. You got to show that kind of fortitude and resilience.
Well, what a season it was for Mirotic last year. Came on stronger for the Chicago Bulls. Continued to improve. Effective in the playoffs. Really a joy to watch in his first year.
And interesting, so much hype going into the season was about Dougie McDermott.
Yes.
And whether or not he was going to be in the running for Rookie of the Year. It ended up being Mirotic. Most years, he could have walked away with that award.
3 on the clock. Here's Ginobili. The shot misses. So the Pelicans will take it the other way. Outside Rose. Fires for 3. San Antonio with the rebound. 17 seconds left in the first quarter. No good from Ginobili. Now here's Rose. The fast break opportunity. Mirotic's shot is off.
I mean, look, no one guarding you. It's better to not pull up and try the lead.
And as the first quarter wraps up, already a double-digit lead. Pelicans lead by 10. And we'll be back with you for the start of the second quarter when we return. And we had the chance to catch up with Greg Popovich, and he talked about how he felt Tony Parker ranks among the league's best point guards.
To be in the conversation, I think, is totally appropriate. And Tony is very often not even in the conversation when people talk about top 10 guards and that sort of thing, which has always amazed me. All you hear is all the other names, whoever the new young guard is. And there's a lot of great ones. But to leave his name out.
Not breaking it down and telling it like it is as usual, Clark. You got to love having a guy like that as your coach.
Without question. I mean, you have no idea how huge that is for a player to get that kind of support and backing from his coach. Is Tony Parker a great all-star and champion? In my book, absolutely, without question. But would he have reached that level without Greg Popovich as his coach? I think even Tony would tell you, probably not.
Welcome back, everyone. A lopsided first quarter in the books already as we start this second quarter. And looking at what we've seen from the Pelicans, what do you guys think?
Smooth sailing from an offensive standpoint thus far.
No other way to put it, Greg. They've made it really look easy so far.
On the floor for San Antonio, the always reliable Parker and Green in the backcourt. Duncan out there with Anderson. Parker against Gordon. Parker right side, and Duncan throws it down hard.
Solid on the one-hand throw down there.
You know, Clark, when it's a tight ball game like this, he's the guy they want with the ball.
Yep.
Yeah, and one reason why, I just don't know that I've ever seen him miss a play like that.
Spurs trail by 3. New Orleans is still a relatively young team, but they play with the maturity, I think, Clark, that's beyond their years.
You know, Kevin, the average age for them last year was just over 25 years old, and the youngest team in the West, actually, to make it to the playoffs last year. It's been a real difficult game for him offensively, and it's cost him.
Here's Davis. Shot no good. Great D that time from Green. San Antonio's gone 1 of 2 on three-pointers here in the second quarter so far. Parker dishes to Green. Top of the key, Duncan. From about 19 feet. That doesn't go either for Duncan.
And for the Pelicans, part of why they look so mature is how they protect leads. I mean, rarely giving away points for free and knowing how to close out games.
And so here is New Orleans. It's left to the basket by San Antonio.
Really like that work there in the paint. He has really established a low post presence.
Spurs trail by 3. To the inside, Marjanovic. And you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3.
You know, guys, the Pelicans only lost 5 games last year where they led going into the fourth quarter. They won 38 when entering the fourth quarter with the lead. That's very mature basketball for a team that's as young as they are.
New Orleans making some changes here. Alex Len comes in for Mirotic. And it's Allen in for Gallinari. San Antonio also making some changes. David West, he's checked in for Duncan. Diaw comes in for Kyle Anderson. And it's Mills in for Tony Parker. It's not really a surprise at this point, but the Spurs were in the playoffs last year. 18th consecutive appearance.
Yeah, they weren't in that usual top 3 spot, though. Although, had they won the last game, instead of being the 6th, they would have been the 2nd.
Right.
Didn't have that home court advantage, and as they went up against the Clippers, it really cost them in that 7th game.
Now, here's Mills, following the miss by Anthony Davis. A 3. Mills can't hit.
Something that's kept this game close is the fact that the rebound stats for both teams are almost identical.
The battle to a standstill on the boards has really been something to watch, and the game's not over yet. We'll see if one of these teams maintains more energy than the other going down the stretch. And against the Clippers, the Spurs didn't have home court advantage. I mean, ended up playing a big part in that series. They ended up losing in Game 7 in Staples with some questionable timekeeping, but that's not why they lost.
And that one falls for Anthony Davis.
And that Spurs series sure didn't feel like a first-round matchup. I mean, you could have easily have seen either team playing for the title, regardless of who won the series. Both teams acknowledge that it felt like a conference finals matchup.
New Orleans making a switch here. Rose is checked in. Leonard, he's checked in for the Spurs. Ginobili comes in for Green, and both free throws good for Davis.
You know, as the season wore on, guys, the Pelicans became a matchup that nobody wanted to see. Very tough against teams and had very few weaknesses, too.
And there's a pattern starting to take shape here. They're working it inside and getting good shots from close range.
Well, I agree with you. 4 of their last 5 baskets have been exactly of that variety. And you talk about momentum. That sort of action delivers a type of energy to your team that you just can't quantify.
You know what? I'm going to quantify it right now, Clark. And this is a close game, and that was something special.
And really, in a game, you guys, in a game like this, though, when you have a chance to send a message, you do. And boy, did he ever on that play.
And that last replay courtesy of Kia. The Spurs shooting their 4th and 5th shots at the foul line in the game.
And typically a strength of theirs, 79% on the season.
Yeah, in general, they've been very solid. I mean, free throw shooting isn't something they've had to worry about too much this season, guys.
Young's checked in for Gordon. That one falls, so he hits both of them. New Orleans has gone 0-2 from deep here in the second. Rose passes to Davis. Those 3-pointers off the mark. Here's Ginobili. Taking a look at his stats, he's averaging around 9.5 points a game. And Mills kicks to Leonard. And the release was before the buzzer, but it's off target. So a tie game here as we finish the first half. And now we'll send it down to Doris Burke, who's standing by courtside.
Tony, you guys have seemed to be in a good groove lately. Taking a broader look at the season, what's important for this team to have success this year?
To stay healthy. I like our chances this year. Our young guys got a lot of experience, and we play good basketball right now, so hopefully we can stay healthy and play good at the end of the season.
Tony, thank you as always. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Doris. And we'll be back shortly following halftime to get the third quarter started.
The 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hi again, everybody. Ernie Johnson here, joined by Shaq and Kenny the Jet. Welcome to the halftime show on 2. It was a big-time first quarter from Anthony Davis. He ended up with 24 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds. What did you think, Shaq, about New Orleans?
They were really efficient, great approach offensively. Their shot selection was first rate. They were always working hard to get good looks. That can't change in the second half. They need to be just as well organized as they have been so far.
Kenny, how do you think San Antonio played?
Well, quite simply, their bench showed up tonight. And when I say showed up, I'm talking about on the offensive end, because they were scoring in bunches. Now, you want your reserves to just at least come in and hold the fort, but they did way more than that tonight.
And now, folks, it's just about time for the third quarter to begin. We will see you after the final buzzer.
Welcome back, everyone. We're ready to get going again as this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports continues. Players are topped off with Gatorade, hydrated, and ready to get going again as well. You look at Anthony Davis in this game, he's been everywhere.
And he just went off in those first 2 quarters, guys. He's capable of doing that on a consistent basis as well. So we might see some changes from a defensive standpoint as they try to disrupt his rhythm in the second half.
You know, guys, I think you've got to make some sort of change. I mean, they can't let him continue to torch him up like he has been.
The shot blocking pair of Davis and Ishak inside. Gordon is out there with Derrick Rose, and it's Young in at the small forward. So that's the group out there for New Orleans. Got a piece of it. And Green gets it to go. And the Spurs lead by 4.
They are just killing them on the interior.
Yeah, you can't say that with enough emphasis. I mean, defenders are just not being aggressive enough down low. You got to play with some physicality in the paint.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact that the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
And that one's good.
That makes 3 in a row to start the second half.
Well, for New Orleans, shooting has been fun to watch in this game. They're at 57%. Davis inside. Duncan is there. And Davis puts it in.
Just a major size difference between the defender and shooter on that possession.
And Greg, without a hand in his face, he's simply going to spray whoever's there.
Parker again throws. And Davis pulls it down. Davis has got 4 rebounds now tonight.
And so last season for Tony Parker, somewhat of a shift. I mean, he was solid, but injuries cost him a few games. He also had his lowest assists and points per game totals since his rookie year. But he fought through like the champion that he is. Yeah, great look, but disappointing with a miss.
Boy, what happened on that one, Greg? I mean, that's almost an automatic shot for him.
Davis, and it is flushed down with a nice jam.
How about that fantastic finish and the aggressive move, too, Kevin?
Trying to send a message, Clark, with that slam, I think.
And I'm not sure if it was text or email, but he definitely threw that one down.
Last year, a big challenge for Tony Parker. He was in his 14th season, obviously. Every great player needs to transform his game as he gets on in age. Clark, we've seen it with the great ones. Parker did put up the highest three-point percentage of his career last year.
And he also ran the offense with tremendous poise and professionalism and cut down the turnover average as well, the lowest of his career.
For a long time in San Antonio, it's been about the big three, and rightfully so with all their wins, and Kawhi Leonard seems to be their future.
And Kawhi and the big three recognize that and are trying to ease the transition period. And if you know the Spurs, they'll make a smooth transition, won't they, Kevin?
Absolutely. And first time out of the game called for New Orleans.
And guys, for Kawhi Leonard and the Spurs, Coach Popovich already sees him as the next guy. He told Leonard not to think of the big three, but to think of himself as the big one.
Some changes here. Mirotic is checked in for Davis. Alinari comes in for Nick Young. And it's Booker in for Eric Gordon. Kyle Anderson, he's checked in for San Antonio. There's 57 seconds left here in the third quarter. And there's the pass to Diaw. Ginobili outside. Connects, the jumper drops. Ginobili's got 4 points in the quarter.
And guys, with what Popovich said about Leonard, small things like that can be the catalyst to get a player to reach greatness. Sooner or later, this will be Kawhi's team.
San Antonio's gone 3 of 7 tonight from three-point territory. Diaw dishes to Leonard. And the rebound goes to the Pelicans. Davis has got 6 rebounds in the game. About 3 seconds between shot and game clock. He's shooting free throws, number 4 in 5 here. And it's tied up with that one. And the Pelicans making a change here. Young's checked in. And they now lead as the free throw drops for him.
Well done again. He doesn't have the same problems at the line that plague some of the NBA's other big men.
Now here's Mills. He's covered by Rose. Leonard on the wing. That's good. Leonard's got 17.
Hard to get that one off with the size difference there. That makes it a tough individual matchup for him, especially down low.
Well, took on the big guys going in there and challenging them like he did. But boy, that was a nice job.
That concludes the third quarter. It continues to be an exciting neck-and-neck game. Spurs out in front. They're up by 1. From New Orleans, back in a moment. Thanks for joining us again as we get set for the fourth quarter. A terrific game so far. On the floor for San Antonio, starting the fourth quarter. Manu and Kawhi filling out the perimeter. West out there with Boris Diaw, and it's Mills in at the 1 spot. Outside Rose. 5 to shoot. On its way from Young for 2. And a big bounce off the rim, but it sinks right in. Young's got the fourth quarter going with the first basket of the period here for New Orleans. And Mills kicks it to West. And it's Anthony Davis with the rebound. Davis has got his 7th rebound of the game with that last one. 11 feet away. It's hauled in by Diaw. San Antonio trailing here. Outside Leonard. Just over a minute played here in the fourth. Shoots. And Davis pulls it down.
That's not a sight you see very often. I mean, he has a great feel for that jump shot, especially when he's open.
From past the arc. The shot is off. And San Antonio will go the other way with it.
Well, he had 1 3-pointer in the first half, but so far in the second, he's come up with goose eggs.
Mills passes to Diaw. Good on the shot. And the Spurs lead by 1. Well, as we move into the fourth, it's been an even game.
Yeah, it has been. Neither team able to create any significant separation so far.
Guys, teams have exchanged the lead 5 times thus far.
Rising high to throw that one down.
Sky high. Fantastic one-hand jam.
Nice way there, guys, to finish up that possession.
And Patrick Mills gets that whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game. Some changes for New Orleans. Omer Ashe, he's checked in for Alex Len. And Mirotic subbed in for Anthony Davis. Timeout called here. The Pelicans decide to talk it over. Well, David West's usage and overall numbers have ticked away with time. He's still as efficient as ever.
Yeah, not the over 50% field goal guy he used to be, but still a valuable contributor on the block.
And for West, a lot of what he brings to the table is just professionalism, leadership, and a real example of how to get the most out of what you've got. He keeps everybody on the team focused, too. When he speaks, guys listen.
And let's get this update now from Doris Burke, who's across the way on the sideline.
Thanks, Kevin. Alvin Gentry had some words for his team over that last break. With the game hanging in the balance, he tried to give his players some added motivation, saying, quote, "This is the time, guys. Right now. Be in this moment. Do your job, and we'll get the win." Back to you.
West, guys, still very strong as a player, but clearly it's his leadership that sets him apart. Does all those little intangibles that help teams win games.
Gordon's checked in for the Pelicans. Ginobili dishes to Parker. 1:41 left in the game. Here's Marjanovic, and a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Yeah, good job to take it right at him.
Yeah, really left him no choice there, Greg. He had the foul and keep him from converting the easy bucket.
And the second of 2 is good. That brings them within 2 here.
They'd have loved to cut it to 1 there. They're still in decent shape if they can get a stop.
Davis against Duncan. It's Davis with the drop. Knocks it loose. 1:16 left here in the fourth quarter. Leonard with no one around. And it's good in the assist by Parker. Parker's got 9 assists now tonight. Duncan against Davis. Outside Rose. Back to Davis. In transition, here comes San Antonio. Parker leading the charge. Young in the corner. From past the arc. He's looking for Gordon and finds him. It's in!
Nothing but bottom for Gordon. He got him falling right now.
Antonio calls timeout. They trail by 2. There's 47 seconds left to play in the final quarter. There's 47 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Parker. Duncan right side. Sinks it. And tie game. That is a huge basket right there.
When Duncan is on like he is now, there's really not much you can do about it.
Rose gets to Young. And out of bounds as San Antonio gains possession.
Oh, that certainly could be costly. In a close one, those kinds of mistakes can really give the other team momentum.
San Antonio calls timeout. Outside. 19 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Down low. Here's Duncan. It's off.
And they had a foul to give, but you want to use it on the ground.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but at least they did get the clock stopped. That is the one saving grace of that situation.
So he goes 2 for 2 at the line, and it's a 2-point ball game.
That is delivering in the clutch. Just one more stop is all they need.
Timeout called here. The Pelicans decide to talk it over. They're down by 2. There's 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter of this one. Rose to force OT. Oh, he couldn't make that shot go to force overtime. And so it's San Antonio who scraped by with the win. They break the hearts of every fan in the building with a dramatic late victory.
And Kevin, this is the kind of win you have to take a ton of pride in. I mean, they battled with everything they had and came through when the pressure was at its highest.
And a chance now to send you over to Doris Burke, standing by on the sideline. Doris?
David, obviously a very productive second unit. How does that change this basketball team when they play like that?
I mean, they set the tone. And we're a very deep team. Our bench is going to have an advantage most nights.
David, thank you. Kevin, depth always important in the NBA.
Doris, thank you as always. And that'll do it, folks. This is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching. Now time to send you over to the award-winning Ernie Johnson for the postgame show with Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny the Jet Smith.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Welcome back, Ernie Johnson, along with Shaq and Kenny the Jet. Let's quickly move forward now to the presentation of our Jordan, Tony Parker. What'd you notice about his performance, Kenny?
In my opinion, his passing is what really drove them to this win. He did a fantastic job of spreading the ball around and keeping everyone involved in the offense. And he wound up with a nice number of assists to show for it.
Tony Parker is putting on a show. The Sabone Assassin does it again. Man, see, he started out as a traditional one guard, bringing the ball up, getting to the backfield. But now the team, it leans on him.
And that'll do it for tonight. For Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Harlan, and our illustrious 2K Sports crew, this is Ernie Johnson. Have a good night, everybody.